You're watching Boxonic, where we go beyond the hype, and today it's all about Canelo versus Crawford and why it may not be close. In combat sports, size isn't just a factor, it's everything. That's why weight classes exist. Terence Crawford might be one of the most technically gifted boxers of this generation, but Canelo Alvarez, he's got the skill and the firepower. He's built like a tank. And while underdog stories like David versus Goliath are legendary, boxing isn't built on fairy tales. That's why so many boxing legends believe Crawford versus Canelo won't even be close. Crawford's jumping up not one, not two, but 3 weight classes to face the Mexican powerhouse in a mega fight that could redefine their legacies. This isn't just a super fight. It's a clash of greatness, grit, and pure guts. Sure, some fans think Crawford's footwork and fight IQ could help him outbox Canelo over 12 rounds, but most experts say this move is way more dangerous than it looks. What many forget is that Crawford's no stranger to moving up in weight. He's done it before and done it well. But leaping up 3 more classes to take on a knockout artist like Canelo, that's next level. Legendary trainer Teddy Atlas takes it even further, reminding everyone that if you count Crawford's first pro weight class, this is a jump across 6 divisions, against one of boxing's hardest hitters.
Teddy, I gotta get just right to it. Terence Crawford wanting to move up 3 weight classes to fight Canelo Alvarez. You as a trainer, what's your insight on that? And I don't know, would you advise a fighter to move up 3 weight classes to fight someone like Canelo?
You gotta remember, he's already moved up 3 weight classes. So now you're talking 6. If you add on 3, you know? 5, yeah, my math is different than yours.
Atlas goes on to emphasize how gaining mass for such a monumental step up can be detrimental, even for a fighter as skilled.
Atlas also highlights something many fans overlook. Gaining mass at this level isn't always a win. Even for someone as talented as Crawford, bulking up could backfire. Yes, it might help him absorb punches, but it could also rob him of his sharpest weapons: speed, reflexes, and fluid movement. And against Canelo, a man who's been comfortable at this size for years, losing even half a step could mean big trouble.
Being that I've been in this business my whole life. So 6 is a lot. 6 weight class.
IBF welterweight champ Jaron Boots Ennis is worried about the same thing. He's wondering whether Crawford can stay lightning quick once he adds those extra pounds. According to Ennis, the added weight could slow Terence down just enough to take away his biggest edge and his agility. And that agility? It's a huge part of what's made him nearly untouchable in the ring.
I mean, I'm pretty sure it's going to be a little difficult because you got to, what are you going to have to put on, like an extra 14 pounds? So he might be a little slower, or who knows, he could be faster. I don't know. Like, it's just, you got to add more weight and gain more muscle and stuff like that, moving up in weight and things like that. So it's a little harder, but I don't know. You know, we'll see on fight night how he'll look.
That's where things get dicey. Crawford's main tools against Canelo are speed, precision, and a next-level boxing brain. But if all of that gets dulled by the extra weight, he could find himself in deep water. Slower legs mean fewer ways. Out and against someone like Canelo, who loves to cut off the ring and press forward, that's a recipe for disaster. 2-time welterweight champ Shawn has raised red flags too. He's not just concerned about Crawford's movement, he's thinking about the danger of one big shot. In a 12-round war, Porter says Canelo only needs 1 clean punch to flip the script, or end the fight right then and there.
The others say, like, no, that's 2 more weight classes. Like, once he gets touched by Canelo, it's going to be different.
I am concerned about him absorbing a Canelo punch, especially through the course of 12 rounds.
But Porter isn't the only one raising eyebrows. Renowned sports analyst Stephen A. Smith has also jumped into the conversation, and he's not optimistic. Smith questions whether Crawford has the kind of firepower needed to keep Canelo off him. If Bud can't hurt Canelo, Smith warns, the Mexican superstar will just keep marching forward, applying nonstop pressure, waiting for the perfect moment to land that one vicious shot, the kind that could shut the lights out.
My concern is that he won't hurt Canelo. And if he doesn't hurt Canelo and can't hurt Canelo, then Canelo keeps coming.
It almost sounds like a boxing version of a horror flick. Picture Canelo as Michael Myers, walking through punches like they're nothing, hunting Crawford round after round until he finds his target. Smith leans hard into that comparison, saying Canelo would likely stalk and dismantle Crawford the same way he did Jermell Charlo and Caleb Plant, methodically breaking them down before unleashing a brutal final barrage. To Smith, Crawford just doesn't have a weapon in his toolbox that could truly stop a force like Canelo.
How he stalked Charlo, how he stalked, once he had Plant hurt, he chased after him. Canelo is a very powerful individual. who can get exposed by a boxer because every shot he throws, he's trying to make it a power shot.
And it gets worse. Smith also pointed out that Crawford has never been in the ring with someone who punches like Canelo. That lack of experience? It could be a major problem. If Crawford can't make Canelo respect his power, the fight turns into a nightmare. A one-way beatdown with Canelo walking through the fire, ignoring the shots, and setting the pace for 12 long, punishing rounds.
I just believe that Crawford hasn't been in the ring with anybody this powerful. And I'm wondering whether he could stay away. Again, Crawford is the superior boxer. But if he can't hurt Canelo, he can't keep him off of him. And that's what
Undefeated boxer Adenis Wilkins didn't pull any punches either. While he gave Crawford full credit for his skills and heart, Wilkins was brutally honest. This fight doesn't look good for Bud. Jumping up 2 weight classes will slow him down, making it hard to keep that elite speed and slick movement. But the bigger problem? Wilkins says Crawford just doesn't pack the kind of power that can worry someone like Canelo. And with Canelo's history of knockouts, that could be a huge mistake. Wilkins closed with a harsh prediction. It's going to end rough for Crawford.
That's a bad look for Crawford. I love Crawford, dog. I think he's real talented, but we see him at 154 going up in weight class, and he kind of struggled. He didn't struggle, but that weight was definitely a difference. To go up another 2 weight classes after that, we're going to see a lot slower Terence Crawford.
When asked how he envisions the fight playing out, Wilkins doubled down on his prediction. He believes Canelo's size.
When asked how he sees the fight unfolding, Wilkins didn't hesitate. He doubled down on his take. Canelo's size will slowly grind Crawford down as the rounds go on, just like it did to Caleb Plant. Canelo doesn't just throw power shots. He breaks fighters piece by piece. And in Wilkins' eyes, Crawford's fate could look very similar, worn down by steady pressure and stopped late when the damage adds up.
Hello.
How you got that fight going? How does it go?
I'll say he's going to get him in the later rounds because of the weight difference. The weight difference is going to affect Crawford's win most likely, so he's probably going to slow down around 9th, 10th round. I think it's going to end up just like the Caleb Plant fight. Caleb Plant was winning that fight until them later rounds, so when it gets into them later rounds, I think Canelo's going to speed it up and start really hurting him with the power shots.
Another red flag came from Coach Reg J after he got a look at the real walk-in weights, and the numbers shocked him. While Crawford walks around at about 170 pounds outside of training, Canelo's walk-around weight is reportedly close to 200 pounds. That's a 30-pound difference. In a sport where every pound counts, that kind of gap could give Canelo a massive physical advantage once they're in the ring.
I would say 90s if he's in the gym, but 200 if he's chilling.
Dang. That's not a podcast.
Walk around at that weight and just coming up, and you just coming up 47 to 68. That's a huge difference.
Veteran fighter Greg Hackett also spoke up, and he didn't sugarcoat it. He pointed out how wild it is that Crawford is moving all the way up from 135 pounds, where he began his career, to 168 pounds. Hackett believes that kind of extreme jump just doesn't make sense, especially when you're facing someone who's naturally bigger, stronger, and more comfortable at that weight.
So you can't really say with him though. That's what makes it so interesting. And we have to remember this man started at 135 pounds, and we talking about this fight to be at 168. That's crazy.
Even Floyd Mayweather's uncle, Jeff Mayweather, acknowledged that Crawford is the superior technical fighter.
Even Jeff Mayweather, Floyd's uncle and an experienced trainer himself, admitted that Crawford is technically the better boxer. But he added a big warning. Crawford's walking into Canelo's world. This is a weight class where Canelo has dominated. Jeff said for Crawford to win, he'd have to fight a flawless, mistake-free fight and somehow catch Canelo slipping. The issue? Canelo rarely makes mistakes, and that makes Crawford's shot at winning razor thin.
Skill-wise, I think he's a better fighter than Canelo, but Canelo is also a great fighter but he owns that weight class that he's in. So I would just say that I think that Crawford has to fight almost a perfect fight to win, and take advantage of Canelo's mistake.
One of the most interesting takes comes from boxer Kyron Davis, a man who's actually sparred with both Canelo and Crawford. That kind of first-hand experience makes his opinion especially valuable. And according to Davis, this isn't just about size. Canelo brings the full package: size, skill, and straight-up power. Davis says when you combine all of that, it makes Canelo even more dangerous than most fans give him credit for.
Everybody knows that Crawford got the skills. I do think that Canelo's a little big for Crawford, and it'll be a tall task for him to win. It'll be a lot you have to. It'll be a lot to get that victory based on size alone. Not that size wins fights, but you got a guy that got size and skill.
Everybody knows Crawford's got skills, Davis said, but Canelo, he's just a bit too big. He admitted it would be a tall order for Crawford to win. It's a lot to ask, Davis continued.
Nothing's impossible, but if I had my money on somebody winning the fight, it'll be Canelo Alvarez, even though Terence Crawford is a great...
Like many others, Davis also pointed out the impact of fighting at 168 pounds. He said that at this weight, Canelo's punches will land harder and do more damage, while Crawford might still be figuring out how to move and react with the extra bulk. To Davis, that physical mismatch makes things incredibly difficult for Crawford, even before factoring in Canelo's ring IQ.
Will play a factor in that fight. It won't. It'll be a lot harder to damage Canelo. Canelo will be, his punches will be way more effective than Crawford's punches if they fight at 168. So I think it'll be an issue. It's not impossible, but it will be.
While Davis has sparred with both, former WBA champ Amir Khan is one of the few fighters to actually fight both men. And not just fight, he was knocked out by both of them in the 6th round. That gives him a unique view. Khan acknowledged that Crawford has the technical edge, but added something crucial. Canelo has evolved since their bout. He's now just as sharp skill-wise. So if both are equally skilled, Khan says the only real difference left is size. And in that department, it's no contest.
But then again, I think since I fought Canelo's become a better boxer. He started boxing more better. Technical more. Especially against the last fight against Mangui. He boxed really well as well, and he's looking really good. He's still, a lot of people might say, oh, he's getting old, this, that, another, but no, Canelo's still a beast.
While Amir Khan kept his take a bit open-ended, coach Joel Diaz didn't hold back at all. He flat out believes that Canelo doesn't just have the edge. He says Crawford has no chance. Diaz echoed what so many others have said. Weight classes exist for a reason. He fully respects Crawford's greatness in his own division, but moving up 2 full classes to take on a tank like Canelo? In Diaz's eyes, that's a one-way ticket to disaster. No detours, no happy ending.
Come and try to fool me, telling me that Crawford can beat Canelo. There is no way. There is no way that Crawford can beat Canelo. And not because he's not a great fighter. He's a great fighter. He's a superstar. He's the best pound-for-pound fighter, but in his division. I mean, risking other divisions, especially 3 divisions up, it's hard.
At the end of the day, no one's denying Crawford's brilliance. His speed, skills, and boxing IQ are elite. But the overwhelming opinion from boxing legends and insiders? Size and power will be the game changers here. Jumping up multiple divisions to face a beast like Canelo Alvarez is an enormous gamble, one many believe Crawford can't beat. Whether it's doubts about Bud's ability to handle Canelo's power or fears he'll lose his quickness with the extra weight, the odds are stacked. Unless Crawford delivers a near-flawless performance, Canelo's experience, size, and relentless pressure could carry him to a dominant win. But now it's your turn. Do you believe Terence Crawford can shock the world? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more deep dive fight content.